All right, all right. We are back with another episode of the Pitchmark Collective podcast. You've got Cameron here. We've got Justin. We got very special guest Travis Schoen from the Northwest Golf Guys. Justin plays.
We figured it out early. We're calling him Beautiful. It's
Oh
just
yes,
Beautiful Travis. Remember,
his last
this is the name.
his last name is beautiful in German. We have not fact checked that yet, but I'm pretty confident he's telling the truth.
We'll just go with it.
Um, So we've got him here from Northwest Golf Guys, also NorCal Golf Guys, SoCal Golf Guys, and Southwest Golf Guys (SW). They're growing. It seems it's a really cool episode we've got for you here. With that, Justin is on a 2-game winning streak in his fantasy football. He wanted to make that known. Teddy and I are helping him turn around his team a little bit. So with that, Justin, I'll kick it over to you, and we'll get the podcast started with just kind of running through Northwest Golf Guys and what they're all about.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess since we've established that like Northwest is the oldest, and you got NorCal and SoCal. I mean, are you guys just going by the brand of Golf Guys? Is that what it really
Yeah,
is at this point?
for the most part, yeah. So like
Okay.
when we do a lot of we don't brand any of the hats anymore with just Northwest or NorCal because it's easier that way. So
Yep.
I mean, yeah, Golf Guys works.
Cool. So I know, like it was interesting. I've been a member of Northwest Golf Guys, like the Players Club of Bend, for I think 3 years now, something like that. And then my first tournament with you guys was back in 2020. Funny enough, it was actually at Crooked River Ranch, which was the last tournament I just played with you guys this year, and it was the best ball.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, damn, this is actually fun, right? Because like I played competitive like junior golf, and then you get into high school, and if you're not making it to college, you're not really doing much. And I never like I quit playing golf forever. So my first foray back into like actually playing somewhat competitive and having fun was Northwest Golf Guys. And I thought it was awesome. Like I was hooked from that, and that I mean playing in that tournament probably actually got me to keep playing golf more.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my
Well,
wife hates it, so she is really mad at beautiful Travis right now because there's a lot of time that I just take off and go to
Hey,
events.
hey,
But
in your wife's defense, you have recorded 91 rounds of golf this year.
yeah,
So
wow,
that's a
let's
you're
lot.
not get
playing
into
you're
the let's
playing quite a bit of golf.
yeah, let's not get into all the details here. Um, but I mean, Travis, I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and now it's like grown into something cool, like even bigger, where you're in all these different areas. Established in 2007, like what got Golf Guys started?
One bad round. So I played one really bad round of golf in 2006 or so. But it kind of got me onto a track where I was like, man, like I think I was 26 years old, and we all kind of have this gap in golf, or a lot of us have a gap in golf where you go from playing as a kid and then you go to school, and there are more important things than playing golf. Sometimes, like trying to figure out how to get booze or other things that you're doing in your late teens, early 20s. And so one really bad round of golf, and I was like, and I got hooked back up again. And so we actually decided to start a tournament review or a golf course review website. So the reviews still live on the Northwest site. If you like really go kind of like the back end of like the back alleys of the website, the reviews are still there, and they're probably I mean, they're almost 20 years old now, but the courses don't change that much, so you can leave them there. But it started at first as a hustle to get free golf because there just wasn't a lot of information on Oregon golf on the internet in 2007. So started as that in 2009. I wanted to save 20 bucks. I had a handicap somewhere else, figured out I could save $20 if I did it myself. And I needed to get 25 buddies to jump in. So I went and rustled up 25 other friends to do it. Didn't know we had to host a golf tournament. Had no clue that we had to even host a golf tournament, but they used to actually track that. And if you didn't host enough tournaments with enough spots for everybody in the club to play in at least one, your club would get disbanded. They looked at stuff like that a lot more back then. And so we hosted one tournament, grew a little bit, so we had to host a second one. And so that was the first year, was just save 20 bucks. Had no idea we had to host a golf tournament. I think the first one we had 24. It was at Heron Lakes in Portland. Second one we had 40. It was a team event, just like you mentioned. I think I knew 20 players and they brought 20 friends. And then the second year, we were this close to taking over the Golf Now Amateur Tour, and a couple like minor things changed. We changed our mind, decided not to. We were all members of the Golf Now Players Club, I think was what it was at the time, which Golf Now decided to disband because they thought that it was taking away from this amateur players tour that they had just the Golf Now Players Tour that they had just developed. They disbanded it. This older gentleman, his name was Lee, ran the old club, sent one email to his group saying, I'm going to Costa Rica. I'm going to go play golf. And when I get back, I'm going to start this new players club. And he had a heart attack and died on the golf course. And so his new players club never actually started. And because of that, the OGA was concerned they were going to lose all of his members. They sent one email on our behalf saying, if you were a member of this club, consider this one. And that was essentially what like bubbled us up to get going.
Wow.
Yeah. And then ever since we started an 8 tournament series with 65 members, had no idea what we were doing. Still learn on the fly to this day. But that was essentially the pathway to us going from, hey, I need to save $20 to like, okay, maybe we can do this for real.
Huh. I mean, it kind of just started out as like, I mean, Cameron, you and I would be like, hey, we want to go on a buddies trip. How can we set this up? And then all of a sudden you invite too many guys and you're like, damn, there's 30 of us going. Let's turn this into something else, you know?
It's kind of exactly what
it's kind of worked. And now you got a business doing it, which is badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many members are you up to?
In Oregon, Washington, California, and Arizona. So we work with those 3 golf associations. We have close to 8,000 active members who keep their handicap with us now annually.
Geez. So you went from very 25 cool. members in 2007 cool. and now 8,000.
Something like, yeah, somewhere around that. We don't count anymore. I mean, players, it's hard to count. Like back in the day, and still Oregon's like this, which potentially might be changing, but Oregon still is and Washington are calendar year memberships. So players join on January 1st and we turn them off on December 31st and have to join again. In California and Arizona, players have a rolling 12 months. So they get it for 12 months from the day that they signed up. And so players will shut off and reactivate. And so it's harder to keep track now, but it's close. It's about 8,000 members somewhere that keep their handicap with us.
I mean, that's impressive. So I didn't know about that. Obviously, I mean, like I said, I played in that one tournament in 2020 and it kind of got me hooked, but I didn't know it was that big. Like 8,000. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I love seeing the success of it. So.
It's fun. It's fun. And it is like we have pockets. So like Oregon is kind of one big pocket, although we do the tournaments in Portland and Bend. And then we do Seattle. We do the Bay Area, which is, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, a little bit in Sacramento. We do SoCal, which is like LA, and then we do Southwest, which is Phoenix. So we have these kind of pockets that are where we do like 90% of the tournaments that we run.
Okay. And I know, I mean, because you didn't start it just by yourself, right? I know there's a couple people that I've met through like being part of the tournaments and stuff, but it was a few of you guys that actually started.
So
the original golf guys.
Yeah, a few of us started, but actually two of the other 2 that I started with aren't actually affiliated with it anymore.
Got it. Okay.
So Zach, Hunter, myself, we all do it full time. Hunter's our pro, so he teaches, he does lessons. We have an office in Portland where we have a couple simulators and do lessons and a few other things like that. And then we have some buddies, AJ in the Bay Area that helps us out a lot. Landon in Phoenix helps us out a lot. Danny in Seattle. So we have some buddies that rip around and help us doing these too. And so if there's ever like, we've had as many as 5 events in one weekend. We can't be at all of them. So we'll usually like call in the troops at that point when we need help.
And so 2009, the first tournament, how many tournaments did you guys have that year?
2. It was like 2. The beta year. So 2 tournaments. Second year we did 8. And and then the travel stuff started. I think Bandon was the first travel place we did. That started the third year.
Okay.
So generally speaking, now it's about 11 local tournaments per area, and then we travel. So we do some privates in certain areas too. We're actually working on expanding that out and doing more privates at some of the in some of the other areas, like Monday private events. But we travel. So like 80 players go to Bandon with us in March. We take 80 players to Pebble Beach every July. We have a big Palm Springs trip in January that's built around the American Express tournament, the PGA Tour event. This year, we're actually playing the Monday after the Amex at PGA West Stadium course. And so Scotty Scheffler and Patrick Cantlay will be playing it the day before. On Sunday, we're going to play it Monday.
That's going to be awesome.
That
looks like a really, really cool trip. And
it's
like
going to be cool.
one of the Marriotts you guys are actually staying at, I've been to. So,
oh yeah, cool.
I was actually trying to talk my wife into it. I'm like, so I know we're going to Palm Springs in October, but what if we go in January as well?
Yeah. Well, Desert Willow has 2 awesome courses, and they've always been very, very good to us. And so that's where we do the weekend events days there. Actually, at Rams Hill on Friday too. So we get up to 4 days of golf, and it's the travel stuff is a lot of fun. Like, I mean, the local stuff is great, and it's easy to get in, get out, get home to your family. But the weekend, the travel stuff, you've played in the biggest one. We have our Bend event in May is the biggest one. It's last year, I think we had 260 different players playing some variation of the days. We do Tethero, Pronghorn, Widgie this year. That's a cool one too.
Yeah, I did that one last year. I think I skipped Tethero, and then went and did Pronghorn. I think last year was it Glaze Meadow?
Glaze was last year,
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah, so that was the one that I actually did with the travel. And I mean, just with my travel with work, sometimes it doesn't work out where I'm actually around, or I get in Friday night and it's like, I am not trying to go play a tournament round of golf after being on a plane and doing all this. So yeah. So 44 tournaments a year basically is what you guys have gotten up to, plus all your travel events.
It's more like 90, but that's because Phoenix. So 6 areas, about 11 tournaments each, and then private club stuff. And then if you break out like each day of the travel event, it's like 90 days of golf.
That is so impressive. I'm like blown away because I mean, you said it earlier when we were talking about like Northwest Golf Guys is established, right? Like I've invited a ton of friends to play into it. I think it's one of the coolest things because, and I guess we can't talk about that because there's 90 tournaments happening, but the coolest part is that like I've played with guys like Brandon Mader, who I play with at my golf course. I mean, he's like a +5, right? And then we also have guys that are 16, 17 handicaps that play, and they have both won. Like both those people have came in and won. So and this is kind of cool, Cam, because it is gross and net, and then they'll do some other things, and maybe you'll have to. I know there's like long drive and stuff like that, and KP on some tournaments. I don't know if it happens at every single one, but it's pretty fun to actually be able to go and enter as net, not just have to rely on gross and have different flights.
Yeah, and most events do have KPs and long drives. We're not throwing KP stakes out at Pebble Beach. I don't know how much they would love that, but but for the most part, generally speaking, there's contests in every hole. There are net and gross payouts. You're right; they're flighted, so players compete at different. Like if you're competing against players of your own skill level. So generally speaking, the competition is really good. Like you have to play well to end up in the prize money. Like we want competition. We're kind of the crossroads. Like we're not the golf association events where somebody's in a suit and tie naming like announcing you on the first tee. But we're also not a hit and giggle where if you cheat, we're going to kick you out. And so like there's a balance there where it's kind of like the competition's important to us, but we don't take ourselves that seriously, and that's kind of where like the balance we try to find.
Yeah, no, I think it's been awesome. Other thing that I always tell everyone I mean, if you're playing, we all play we all play tournaments at our courses, right? And then you get like some sort of pro shop credit, and you're like, oh
Mhm.
shoot, I got to go to this pro shop and spend a couple $100. I think one of the coolest things you guys do, like you guys actually have a shop online. So I mean, obviously that's grown. I mean, you guys have
Mhm.
expanded and that came alive. I mean, how did you guys get to that point where you went from 2 tournaments now to 90 tournaments and having a like an actual shop with a pro shop where guys like me who, if we win any shop credit, we can now just go on there and buy whatever club we want.
Yeah, I mean that's just a progression for for over the last, I don't know, 15, 16 years where just like you said, you know, some areas, like if you play in LA and you were to win $10 in a shop, like a lot of the way like pro-ams or work or other tournaments is it all goes back to the course that you're playing in. That's really cool. Like it's great for those courses. That being said, if you live in LA and you play in a tournament that's an hour and 45 minutes away, if there's no traffic and you
Yeah.
win $10, like that's basically wasted money. And
Mhm.
so that's why we came up with this concept of, so we do very much adhere to the amateur rules of golf. We have eyeballs on us at all times because of how many things we do and how closely we align with the golf associations in each area that we are. So we work very closely with the OGA, WA Golf, AZ Golf, the SCGA, and the NCGA. So we do have to adhere to all of the amateur rules of golf. And so we took the concept of pro shop credits and just did it online. Um, and certain, like the shop that I'm sitting in right now, is kind of a necessity for some of those companies to work with us because they won't just let anybody buy their stuff and put it. I mean, we have to get permission from every single company, and they won't just, like Titleist won't just let anybody sell their stuff.
Mhm.
And so like we had to do some things to follow their rules too. And so it's just one of those things that kind of slowly progressed. And we try to we operate a lot. We operate a lot more like football than we do baseball when it comes to our rules of ourselves. Like if something doesn't work, we change it right away. If something it's not like baseball where if something doesn't work, it takes them 25 years to talking about what they're going to do. We just do it. And so we try to. I mean, we do have to follow rules, and so we do. And this was one of the ways that we could make things better. It helps. We paid out by the end of this year. We're going to pay out about $300,000 in prize money, and this allows us to pay out significantly more without having admin fees built into our tournaments. Like you don't pay a Travis fee when you play in one of our tournaments. We don't scrape $12 off the top for ourselves. When you play in a tournament, every single dollar goes to the golf course or goes to a prize fund. And that the way we do it helps us do that. So you're not paying. I mean, you've played some of the events, you'll pay less than the daily greens fee to play in a tournament with us.
Yeah.
And there's a $7,000 to $10,000 payout in the pot. And so that's how we do it is I mean, by slowly progressing and doing it the way we do it, that allows us to pay out a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, I've been a beneficiary of it. That first tournament that I played with you guys in 2020, like, because I was roaming around your guys' website.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I've never clicked on history before, and I've never looked at this. And I actually noticed that you guys had those reviews on there, which I was like, when have they been doing reviews? Like
Mm-hmm.
it was interesting. But I think my teammate and I won like $200, and it was
Yeah.
like, oh, sweet. How do I cash this in? I remember I thought it went away like real quick. So I think I ordered like 3 dozen golf balls. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
sweet, they're coming. It'll be, and it just got drop shipped. Was the coolest
Yeah.
thing ever. So
Yeah. We carry a lot of the stuff here. There was a time frame we've all experienced this in 2021 where it was really hard. Like you could order a dozen golf balls and it would take 4 months to show up.
Mhm.
And so we had to get a little more, we had to start carrying more, and we carry a lot. But yeah, I mean, we've had to get a little creative. We've had to change paths a few times, but But again, like we pay. You don't pay a lot to play in our tournaments, and we pay out a lot.
No, I mean, I think the most that I paid was like $90 once. Or maybe actually Pronghorn. Pronghorn was more expensive, but I mean, you're going out to Pronghorn, and if you get invited by a member, you're still paying 140, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you got to get invited, you know. Or I guess the public side, you can go out there and it's still what 170, I think, and
I'm
that's
I'm looking
non-peak
at
season.
I'm looking at this winter series special event at Chambers Bay costs, and I'm like, I need to sign up for that because what I paid to pay Chambers Bay is about 200% of what's the cost for you through you guys. So I'm looking at that here.
We
That place is
have an
awesome.
amazing relationship with Chambers Bay.
Yeah.
It's one of our. So we have like not almost like unofficial home courses in a lot of the places that we're at, where we just
Mm-hmm.
do a little bit more. They're one of our membership partners in Washington, and so we have like unofficial home courses that you can almost call them in a lot of areas. And Chambers Bay is one of our best partners up and down the entire region that we do. We do a
Mm-hmm.
lot with Chambers Bay.
Is that because you guys kind of started in more of the Seattle area, or where was the first location for like
Portland.
Northwest Golf
Yeah,
Guide? It was
Portland
Portland.
was the first one.
Are you in Portland yourself, Travis? Where do
Yeah,
you
yeah,
live?
yeah. I
Okay.
live in Portland, so Portland was the first one. Bend was actually the second one. Funny enough, the Bay Area was the third one, and then Seattle. So Seattle started first. We did some travel stuff with Chambers Bay for a few years before we officially launched in Seattle. But Chambers Bay was the first tournament of the first Seattle series, and I think it was March 21st, 2020. So like the world
Peak
shut down
COVID.
2 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we kind of watched. I mean, we were in Bandon Dunes the day before the Bay Area went into shelter in place, and then 1 week later, Seattle went into shelter in place and shut all the courses down. So we had our season opener in the Bay Area in 2020 had actually got postponed, but we were able to do Chambers Bay the day before Seattle all shut down, and then we had to wait for like 2 months before we could do another one. But yeah, it all started in Seattle the day before Seattle went into shelter in place.
Damn. Yeah, that was a different time, but honestly, like COVID is what got me back into golf.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2019 happened and you couldn't do anything. And at that point I was mountain biking and road biking a ton and like racing, and no one wanted to train together, right? It was like, oh, we can't be around each other. And I'm like, the social aspect of this is killing me. And my neighbor, he's 75. He was like, hey, you want to go play golf? And I was like, pretty sure I still have my 962s from high school in the garage, so let's do that. And I mean, being competitive, just like competitive in general, like always want to try and compete. That was one thing where I was like, man, like golf's fun, but I'm never going to be able to have like that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I'm not at a private country club where you're playing in member guests all the time and stuff like that. But finding Northwest Golf Guys was super fun for that. The other thing that ended up being really cool, and Cam, you might actually dig this as well because you've got some buddies that are sticks. The team events are super fun. Like that was the first experience that I got where we did a best ball event. And I mean, I will say like one of my like best buddies at this point, especially in golf, is Joey, which we can shout him out on this, Travis. He is player of the year.
He was our
uh,
2024 member of the year in Bend.
yeah,
That is
member
correct.
of the year.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
him and I met 2 years ago because you guys started the match play. And
Okay.
so
Yeah.
like, was it Portland does match play, Seattle? I mean, probably every region, but Bend had a match play. You pay your entry fee and then you get lined up on the board with whoever you're going to play. And I made it, like both Joey and I made it to like the second or third round. And it was hilarious because him and I, well, you play at Juniper. I know you play at Eagle Crest. We're not playing at either of those two courses. And we're like, well, we've got 2 for 1s because you guys did that. Do you guys still offer 2-for-1s, or is that something that was
Yeah.
back in the day?
No, we do. Yeah. Yeah. We still have those.
Yeah, so we had Aspen Lakes 2-for-1s, and we went out there. This is the first time I've ever met Joey, period, and he shows up 20 minutes before our tea time, and he had just done like a 4th of July bash, and he was so hungover. It was just absolutely like horrible. So I won the first, like, I think I won the first 5, and we finished the match on hole 12. And then I was like, well, now I can drink and have fun. And then once we did that, he went like on a crazy streak of like par, birdie, birdie, birdie. And we were like, oh, you can actually play. Like, yeah, this is pretty. You know what? Why don't we play the team events together?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think for the last 2 years, we've literally played we've tried to play every team event together, as long as like I'm not traveling for work and stuff like that. But the team events are badass. I think those are so much fun to either play in a team best ball or the end of the year scrambles that you guys do. Those were super fun, and especially at the courses that you're picking to do it, because it's all about fun. And it's not
Yeah.
too
I mean,
serious.
again, it's Crooked River Ranch, which is kind of the perfect golf course for that. Like it's because you can just trick it out. You can trick it out a little bit. There's some cool like holes where you literally hit over a canyon and you can choose whether you do that or not. Like it's a cool whole course for that. We do a lot of team events. Most of our stuff you are able to play your own ball though.
Yep.
You know, the season ending scramble, that's kind of like the let your hair down and like the year's over. We grinded it out enough. Like let's play around a little bit. Put a contest in all 18 holes. It's pretty fun. But for the most part, yeah, you are playing your own ball from tee to green because most golfers want that. Like when we tried a team event once at a private club, and everyone like lit us up. They're like, I don't want to play in a team event here. I want to play my own ball. I got to play this course once a year. I don't want to play a team event. So they do. They're awesome. Like I agree with you. We do a team match play sometimes. That's so much fun. Like we got beat. I got beat in the first round. I always get beat in the first round playing match play. I'm not the greatest match play guy, but we do a team match play sometimes that we'll start like rolling into new areas too. That's team match play is rad. Like it's a lot of fun. It's hard to line your schedules up sometimes with 4 players versus 2.
4 players instead of 2. Yeah.
But the team match play is a lot of fun too.
I know you guys do that in Portland, which for me that's 3 hours, 2.5 hours ish drive. But man, if that came to Bend, I bet Joey and I would end up jumping in on
It's
that.
coming. So we started that one in LA in a partnership with the golf association there, and that was the first time we did it. So right now we just announced the Bay Area. So we're doing it in the Bay Area for the first time starting in like I don't know, 3 weeks. They can play a little longer in California than we can in the Northwest. So we just announced we're doing it in the Bay Area for the first time in 2 weeks, and we're probably going to launch it in Bend in the summer, so in 2025.
Yeah, and it's just like another reason to actually play.
Yeah.
I know last week, or gosh, this was 3 days ago, you guys had your club championship for the Northwest. That was up at Wine Valley.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool, and it's something that I had mentioned to Cam, where like you guys are a legitimate club, so you can play in a club championship, and the winner of the club championship actually gets to play in like the national championship for that, right?
Yeah, yes. So that was more like a tester. I'm not tester. That's the wrong way to put it. It was just our Northwest clubs that we did this one with. The goal is to do one for every club. Where yes, if you win any tournaments, you actually don't have to win a club championship. So like there are events that the one I was mentioning earlier, the 3-day Bend event at Pronghorn, Tethrow, and Widgie Creek, where we'll have 20 something winners because each day has its own contest, and each day, there's 12 winners in the middle day. There's 6 flights, and there's 4 or 5 flights each day on the Friday and Sunday days. And so you'll have 20 to 24 winners. So just winning any flight gets you into that. So like team events, both players that win a team event gets you into that. And so we had it was our tournament of champions, and that essentially crowned the champion of champions. And had 2 players win that. 2 players from Portland actually won, Jeremy Hutner and David King. Shout out to you guys for winning the first one. So that was on Sunday. That was the first time ever that we did that, and it was pretty awesome. Like Wine Valley is a special golf course for those that haven't had a chance to get it. It's in Walla Walla, which if you live in the Northwest, is still 4 hours away from everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
You can fly into Tri-Cities, but you have to go through Seattle from elsewhere. But Wine Valley is a special place. Top 100 course on the Golf Digest public courses list. So it's a special place.
So that I was kind of wanting to go this direction with asking some things, because I know, like, I'm looking at your guys' schedule, and I know there's some pretty cool courses that you guys have played on.
Mm-hmm.
What's your, and I'm probably just going to ask some like rapid fire here.
Yeah.
Like, what's your favorite course that you've hosted a tournament at?
I mean, nothing's been more special than Pebble. Nothing like jacked us up more than playing Pebble Beach for the first time. And it's like this place that you just feel you feel the history when you're walking it. Like it's like Bandon's our first love when it comes to like high end resort play. But man, like standing on that first tee at Pebble, and you have like all the shops and the pro shop are right there, and you generally have 40 to 60 people watching you hit your first tee shot. Like I've almost ended up in a living room once. I've almost ended up. I've piped it. I'm at 4 times now, and I've piped it twice and almost killed somebody twice. So the adrenaline that you have on that tee shot is like unmatchable.
So Cam, have you been to Pebble at all? So what he's like, actually, I mean, even coming down 18 super special. I've only played Spyglass, so I've never gotten to play Pebble. But we were down there, and it was for a work event, so I was like, I'm going down to Pebble. Checked it out, and I even just sitting at the bar right on the 18th green and watching people play in, you're like, I was just mesmerized by it. I thought it was the most beautiful thing in the world. Like it was super fun. So Pebble is I mean, that's a pretty high standard for saying, like, let's go to a little different route here. What was the fun course that you guys have set up a tournament at?
Fun. I mean, they're all fun. Every single one of them is fun. I'm gonna go. Pinehurst was a lot of fun. So we took 60 players to Pinehurst in 2022, and we're talking about when we're gonna do it again. And like Bandon is it's really cool. But everyone, like most of the players that we have that come with us to Bandon, they're from Portland. They've been there. They're from Seattle. They're from the West Coast. They've been to Bandon. So they all know their routine. They're very cliquey, and they know what they want to do when they're at Bandon. We had no idea what we were going to do at Pinehurst. And so we had 60 players, and like we're traveling in a horde of like 40 guys the whole weekend. And like we went to the Pinehurst Brewery with like 40 of us, and we went to the Cradle with like 40 or 50 of us, and we went to oh man, I'm drawing a blank on I think This'll Do, I think is the name of their putting green. And it was like we did a horse race, and it was like everybody there. Like we traveled as like a crew because we didn't know any better and we didn't know what to do. So that was like one of the most fun times we've ever had. Was Pinehurst, because it just everybody did everything together, where usually even on travel events, like when you go to Bend, we don't do lodging because everybody knows somewhere or has something, or like Palm Springs, people have timeshares. Like we don't touch it because everybody knows what they're going to do. Pinehurst, nobody had any idea what to do. So we just kind of traveled as like a horde, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I was at Pinehurst for a week in August, and it's just a whole nother world out there compared to where I've played most of my golf. What how many days were you guys out there? What kind of like events or formats did you do when you were there? What courses did you play?
So it was 3 days. We did Tobacco Road on Friday, and then 2 and 4. So 2 was a Saturday, 4 was on Sunday. Usually with the travel events, so we don't build the games in. We make the games optional. And the reason we make this usually a Stableford format so players can pick up, because if you play Pebble or Pinehurst number 2 for the first time and you triple number 1, it could ruin it for you. And so we go Stableford so that it's like hole by hole, and players can I mean, you can bounce back from a bad hole because you just make 0 and you're done. And then on top of that, we make them optional because there are players who are, I mean, that the Pinehurst, you were there, so there, Pinehurst isn't cheap. And so it like some players just want to go there and experience the US Open experience. They want to go to Bandon and look at the ocean while they're playing and not care about a score. And so we make the games optional. Players buy in before the event if they want to, but if they just want to play golf on these big travel events, they can do that too.
Yeah, very cool. You were talking about nerve-wracking tee shots. I think my most nerve-wracking tee shot was on number 1 on number 2.
Yeah.
I think it was like 7:30 in the morning. My buddy's got the little barrel cart pouring up double. I forget what he called them, but they're served on like hole 12 at the Masters only. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm just like, okay, I'm nervous. There's people on the putting green watching us tee off. I haven't been driving the ball very well. Of course, I piped it right down the center, and then I 3-putt for bogey. So,
well, I mean, at least you got out of the way before you did that, so they couldn't see that. But that's a cool tee shot too.
Yeah, no, it was great. I mean, you said it, earlier with the U.S. Open experience, like playing it the year of, being there, seeing all the shots that you remember when you were watching, right? Just, I think for us, it was less than a month before. It is a special place. So we hit 2-4, 10 twice, number 8 in the cradle. And the cradle with just 4 guys is fun enough. I can't imagine bigger groups, like especially on number 1 while everyone's watching everyone else tee off, and then you could just see the whole course from where you're at. So I'm sure that was a very cool experience having all those guys out there at once.
It was cool, man. I don't know about you. I really like number 2, but I loved number 4. I loved it. Yeah. Like number 4 was amazing.
Yeah, 4 was really good. I mean, I have no bad things to say about any of the golf courses I played out there. Like, they're all just like, they have their little intricacies. Like number 8, it's off property, but even that course is just, I mean, it's totally different than anything I play in Colorado. You're not going to get anywhere close to conditions and even just green structures out there are just incredible.
Yeah, we're talking about redoing this one, and again, I don't know if it's 2025, 6. I mean, who knows? But one of the things, 10 looks amazing.
10 looks so cool.
It looks so good. Like, I can't wait to get out to do 10, to play 10. You asked about which one was the most fun. I mean, I had so much fun on 4, and I think that's what did it for me. Like 2 was awesome, and you can see why it's a U.S. Open course. 4 was so much fun, and the reason we did Tobacco Road is, it was so internet popular 4 years ago that we did it, and it was fun. I would very much like to do 10, very much.
That'd be cool. One more random question around courses. What is the most exclusive course outside of like Pebble Beach that you guys have gone to? Because I'm looking at it and I see like there's actually some pretty good golf clubs, country clubs. I mean, obviously I look at the Oregon, more like Portland, Bend area, but I mean, you guys have gotten on Chambers. I mean, I'm sure you guys have some stuff on in Northern California and Southern California, and then I think I saw Grass Clippings was one of your guys' Arizona events, which was super cool to see. So,
yeah, we just played Grass Clippings for the first time a month and a half ago, and it is so cool. Like, it's something that would be awesome in Bend. It is ridiculously cool, and so we'll have another one, an official event there on November 15th, kind of in the middle. So we do a 3-day in Scottsdale or Arizona, Phoenix area. So we're doing Greyhawk, Weekapaw, and the stadium course at TPC, which they'll have everything built out there too. When we do that, Grass Clippings is unbelievably cool. But to answer your question, I think the most exclusive, like, I know, like, as somebody who lives in Bend, it probably doesn't feel that way, but Fazio is way up there. So Fazio,
I could see that.
Exclusive. If you don't have you don't know somebody, like you're not in like a bubble. We've had players from the Bay Area be like, "Oh, hey, those are the guys that play Fazio. Like, let's go check it out." So Fazio's up there. We just played at Royal Oaks for the first time in Vancouver, Washington this year. That was a pretty good, like a nice course for us to add to our roster or schedule. Columbia Edgewater, which hosts the LPGA, we do that twice a year now, and then we do Stonebray in the Bay Area. So that's like Steph Curry almost took a PGA Tour event to Stonebray, which is a cool country club in like the Oakland Hills.
That's awesome. So you mentioned November 15th is your event in Arizona. I mean, and this is the cool part, and I don't know if you're looking at it too, Cam, but I mean, you could play Friday through Sunday for, $1,300, $1,299. You've got all 3 courses all set up. I mean, my experience with going to like the Northwest events, you show up, you decide if you want to play in the skins game or not, and you just have fun.
Yep.
Like that's the best part about it. Like, you don't have to worry about tee times. You don't have to run around getting carts or anything. Everything is set up there for you. The costs, like Travis, you mentioned it. I mean, there's been some of the events where I'm like, for me to even go play this course is going to be more. So I'm just going to do it, because I wouldn't normally even go out to it.
Yeah, I've been looking at the Palm Springs event like this entire time. I'm like, that's doable. That's easily doable.
That's our. I mean, that's a cool one, right? Like we generally drops like Pebble's booked for 2025, but it's not available on the website yet. So we generally kind of like roll them out every few months. The Palm Spring one we just announced last week, and it is going to be very. I mean, again, like the getting, maybe I have to rephrase my question, because even though stadium at PGA West it's public, anybody can go play it. It's like to get it the day after the PGA Tour is there that's pretty exclusive. So that's that one's going to be. I mean, again, and then you tack on Desert Willow, both courses at Desert Willow and Rams Hill, which is another top 100 public on the Golf Digest.
And just had a complete renovation. Like Rams Hill just opened a month ago, and it is pure.
Brand new grass, yeah. So they just it was only open 6-7 months out of the year, and now with the new grass, they can stay open year round.
Yeah, what they've done out there looks really, really cool.
I
think I'm gonna drive out there because, like I said, I'll be out there in October. So end of October. So I think that's one of the things where I'm just gonna be like, all right, babe, I'm gonna drive the hour and 20 minutes and go check out Rams Hill for the day.
What's funny, because it gets a bad rap for like, I don't know, not bad rap, I don't know if that's right. It's people consider it in the middle of nowhere, but that's people that are from LA and San Diego. It's 3 hours away from there. But once you're in Palm Springs, it's only an hour and 15 minutes away. Like, it's super close to Palm Springs.
Yeah, it's not horrible at all. So I mean, Cam, if you're looking at it, we could go there Friday through Monday, 1,050. I mean, are the guys actually going to go to Indio? You can't go to Palm Springs without checking out Lights of Indio.
We'll have something planned there. Well, yeah, that's the next piece of this, is figuring out. We went and played that last year too. Just some buddies, just a group of, I don't know, it might have been 12 of us. And it's cool. It's fun.
So Cam, 18-hole par 3. Is there a par 4? No, it's all par 3s. There are a few 240-yard par 3s on there, but 18 holes under the lights.
Right.
And it's real grass in Palm Springs. It's awesome. I went down actually Joey and I, we did a trip 2 years ago. We went down into Palm Springs. It was the first time we had ever been there. Played 36 every day, and one of the courses that we went at night, it was Lights of Indio, and I had a smile on my face the entire time. I was like, seeing a golf ball leave and go into the darkness and then come back, it's hilarious. You're just sitting there like, what in the heck? This is awesome. So last year when I went, I took my daughter, and she thought it was the funnest thing in the world. So yeah, definitely, if anyone's going there, Lights of Indio, I know it's not, it's not the most pedigree course and in the best condition, but you want to talk about fun factor, that is a 9 out of 10 for me on fun factor.
Right. It's just that one course, right? The par 3. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
just
I don't think a lot of people go to that golf course for the conditions either. I think they go to
Yeah.
drink beer with their buddies and hit balls at night, like you said.
well, and they don't have I mean, we got stuck behind a tensum. So that was kind of like, all right, crap, this kind of sucks. But we skipped one hole and then we played through it and it was like a slow night. So it was a blast for like my daughter and I to just go down there and play those holes. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that Cam, we should talk about if we actually make a debut down there. That'd be fun to go down to Palm Springs January. Good time to do it too.
It's right before my birthday. Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
Sounds like a birthday trip, especially with beautiful Travis. So
It's a birthday trip for me too. I'm the same time frame, so we'll make it a birthday. We'll make it a birthday weekend.
for sure. Cool. Well, I mean, obviously, like I've played the events. I think like this whole you've basically explained, where golf guys started. I mean, what you guys are doing now. Some of the future events look super cool. Anything you want to end this episode with?
No, I mean, just you know what? Let's do this. Let's go. Thank you to everybody who's ever played in one, because without the players, without Justin and the players who have played with us, we wouldn't be. It wouldn't matter. So, thank you to everybody who's ever played with us. If I will probably be at 6 clubs for quite some time, because if I launch one more, my wife is a wonderful human being who lets me do way more than I probably should be allowed to do. But if I launch number 7, I might be moving in with one of you two. So, thank you to everybody who's ever played in something with us. That means the world to us, and we appreciate it.
Perfect.
I think that's a pretty good way to end it right there. Big thank you
Yeah.
to all the followers of Northwest Golf Guys and all the
And you
different
know what?
clubs.
And the wives of all the friends of golf guys, because without the wives, because they're not only does my wife put up with me, but they all put up with you too. So thank you.
Yeah. I was looking at just like the total players, in each tournament. It's like 80 to 100 guys. I mean, that pretty much means there's at least like 60 wives letting them go out and
That's
play
right.
in the tournaments, right? So, yeah, shout out to all the golf wives because they give us some leeway on the leash. Travis, I appreciate you coming on. It was really cool learning more about you guys and your company and what you guys have going on. Make sure you guys go check out Northwest Golf Guys, Southwest Golf Guys. They're on nwgolfguys.com is your guys' main website, right?
That's the Northwest version of it. Yeah, it has 3 of the 6 clubs on there, but there's like little links to all of them on top of there too.
Perfect. Justin,
Cool.
anything you want to say? Close it out with?
No, like I've said to you before, Travis, I appreciate what you do. I know what you do is tough because you got to put up with like 100 of us every week, and we all have our own different opinions and what we want and what we expect. So thank you for making it as enjoyable as possible and doing what you do.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Perfect.